words of wisdom for the kids out there?
Drink plenty of fluids on a hot day and get high in the music, not the drugs.
Welcome back, winners and losers, to a special playoff edition of Take the Points. I'm your host, Fat Sam, and with me, as always, we have the world-famous T-Bone.
Present.
Our special guest star, who's back from the netherworld, Stumpy.
How do you do?
And, of course, our legal counsel and our enforcement, Joey Guns. So, because it's playoff time, first week of the playoffs, wild card weekend, we're going to do another just kind of special format. We did a little bit different last week. We're going to do the same thing this week. We're all just going to talk for a little bit and chime in maybe if we've got some contrarian points or we agree or disagree. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm going to start for this ragtag group. I just want to say, if you listened last week, you know that T-Bone talked me into taking Philadelphia.
Don't be blaming me.
I had some open bets on the Giants to win the NFC East, and I had some open bets on the Cowboys to win the NFC East, and I talked about possibly hedging by taking Washington, and T-Bone talked me to taking Philadelphia. So
Go big or go home.
that was where I put a lot of action last week, and I did not do very well. I lost all those bets. I still about broke even for the week, which is not a loss in gambling, I guess, if you just lose a little bit. So it could have been great. It was there. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But as it was, it didn't work out very well for me.
It doesn't help when the Eagles decide to take a knee.
Yes. If Doug Peterson had sent us an email and said, "Hey, we're tanking, baby," then I would have had something different to offer.
Disgusting.
But it was a pretty bad display of
Lack of sportsmanship.
yeah.
Worked out for me.
Right. So Stumpy, he wasn't buying into all that. He had a clear slate, and he'd been on Washington all week. So good for Stumpy, bad for me, and T-Bone didn't get his finder's fee for helping me win. So for this week, this is what I'm going to do this week. I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do. We've only got 6 games, some on Saturday, some on Sunday. It's COVID in Cleveland. It's kind of a wackadoodle week. We've talked about this in pre-production. There's all some games that we like. We're all heavy on. Of course, if you want those, then become a patron, and we'll give you all our picks. Or you can send us some money via PayPal. Links are below, of course.
Like and subscribe.
So what I think I'm going to do this week is I'm going to do 3 two-team parlays, and I'll give you one of them right now. I'm going to take Buffalo, and I'm teasing the Bills down to -2.5. So I'm taking Buffalo -2.5, and I'm going to put them with the Rams, and I'm going to tease them up to +7.5. So that'll probably be my biggest.
Even with golf, you're not.
I don't think it matters. I'm thinking defense. It's going to be a low-scoring, close game. Seattle's defense is improved. Rams' defense is great. I see this being maybe a 20-14 game. Either way, maybe 17-14, maybe 23-21. That's what I'm looking at. Probably +4 is enough for the Rams, but just to be safe, I'm going to take it to 7.5 and get that little bounce with having a 2-teamer. So that's one of them. If you want the rest, become a patron. But Stumpy, I know that you are really, you had a change of mind. You changed your pick from what we made earlier in the week, and now you're hot on a specific team. So why don't you go ahead and tell the listeners what you're doing?
Yeah. So, first I'll talk about a little bit about how last week went for me. I had a really good week actually. Went all in on a couple of teams that a lot of the experts said would go the other way. But anyway, I did a 6.
When he says expert, he's not talking about T-Bone.
Not talking about T-Bone. I did a six pick parlay last week. I took the Browns, the Vikings, the Bills, the Ravens, the Patriots, and the Bucks all to win. It was straight on the money line, and that won me a good chunk of change. So I was pretty happy with that last week. So as you were saying earlier this week, we talked about the Cleveland Browns versus the Steelers, and initially I was kind of I was kind of thinking that Cleveland, it was +6. Cleveland was +6 this week when we started the spread. I don't know if it's still there, actually.
It's still there,
Is it still there?
Even with the COVID.
Yeah. And I thought, man, this is a playoff game. It's Baker Mayfield's, first time to shine in the playoffs. But the more I've thought about it, and especially with Stefanski, the coach being out, I can't see a way where Pittsburgh does not just absolutely dominate Cleveland this week. So right now the spread, like I said, it's Pittsburgh -6. I'm going to go ahead and tease that up this week, and I'm going to say Pittsburgh -9.5.
I like it.
I think that's pretty solid. You could probably go a little higher, but my pucker factor, it being a playoff game, I'm going to stick with 9.5. So, yeah, I think you can put that one locked down, sealed, and deliver it. So.
I like it.
Cool. Is that everything you're going to go through?
That's it for me this week. If you want more, pay.
Last week, I was fortunate last week. I did a couple of parlays that worked out for me. One was a 7-teamer, one was a 5-teamer. I teased both of them. So I was getting an extra 6.5 points, and as luck would have it, they came in. So it ended up being a pretty good week last week. I don't know if I'll have the same luck this week, to be honest. Looking at the games, I see ways the underdogs could win any of these games. So that's always kind of in the back of my mind. But the one I'm probably highest on, going back to the same game earlier that we talked about, was that Bills-Colts game. I like the Bills a lot. And I think the fact that you picked them at, -2.5?
I think I'm going to take him at 2.5.
Yeah, I like that for a parlay. I think for a conservative one, take the Bills at -2.5 and then parlay that with the Washington football team. So again, trying to be conservative, it's right now I think +8 for Washington. I think I would probably take that up to probably 12.5, maybe, I think. That's what I'm kind of looking at for the conservative one. Then if you want to get kind of crazy with it, the Bills, I could see them winning big too. So maybe taking that and instead of, sitting at -6.5, maybe go as far as -9.5, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're far off with, the Colts defense has not been what it was.
No.
And then with
and Phillip Rivers with pressure, he's always suspect.
And Josh Allen playing out of his mind, there's potential for it to be a high-scoring blowout type of game.
Yeah.
So on the Tampa game, I'm going to say this is one where I think Tampa wins big in this, but you certainly can see a scenario where Washington either could win or at least cover.
Yeah, because the one thing we talked about this earlier that Brady struggles with is pressure.
Right.
And that's the one thing Washington has in their favor.
But at the same time, Brady in the playoffs, you wouldn't be surprised to see him come out and win 30-3 either.
Yep.
I mean, it's it wouldn't be shocking to anybody if it's like Brady comes out and lights it up. And I think Evans is out this week too, which is
it's looking that way. Yeah. The thing too that Washington always worries me on, they think they might play 2 quarterbacks this week.
Yeah.
Their offense is the one that struggles. So, if they can't get any momentum on offense, then the defense can't be there the whole game for them.
But Chase Young's already come out. He called them out this week. So I
don't know if that's so smart, but yeah,
that was a little dangerous. But hey, he's going to be defensive rookie of the year this year, right? I mean, it's looking strong. So if you got to have somebody on your team to call them out, that's the one you want.
He's the one. We'll see. So yeah, going back to my parlay pick is going to be the Bills and Washington football team. And then with that, I guess I'll turn it over to Joey Guns.
Joey Guns!
Thanks, T-Bone. So last week went 50-50 on the parlay pick of the week. So as you guys know, that'll get
what that pays,
$0.
right?
How about them Cowboys?
So Fat Sam had me buying in on the Cow. I was doing it for him. I picked the Cowboys.
Everybody's blaming somebody else.
He wanted me to pick he wanted the Cowboys to win. Unfortunately, they didn't. And I didn't.
Surprising. It's really surprising.
I wanted the Eagles to win. I didn't care if the Cowboys or the Giants won.
So, but on the other side of that was Baltimore, and it was a win-and-in scenario. I thought they could definitely pull it out, and they did. So, for what it's worth,
Baltimore's looked really good.
Yeah.
In the stretch, in the last 5 games.
The middle of the year, they had a lot of bumps going on. They didn't know what was going on.
They've looked great.
Yeah.
But however, I'm going against them this week. On my parlay pick of the week, I'm going with Tennessee in the points. Because I think Tennessee can control the ball on the ground long enough to keep this game close. My colleagues pointed out earlier that the Tennessee defense is
Awful.
Suspect.
Awful.
either of those
Horrible.
characterizations.
It's
that
terrible.
were-
It's just terrible.
Absolute train wreck. Let's just go.
And but on the other hand, I think that they can put up points and they can control the ball. And I think 3.5 is a line that I don't like to go the other way on. I think many times teams win by 3, and especially in the playoffs, people are going to play as hard as they can play. Last year, Baltimore lost to Tennessee in the playoffs.
They have a bad track record
They
against
do.
the Titans.
So I think it'll be close. I think Baltimore wins it, but I think it's close.
If Tennessee tanks, do they get a better draft pick?
Not at this point.
No.
Well,
Maybe they will.
I think you're,
Yeah, I guess.
I think you're thinking Philly again.
I know, it's hard to get off that, but
And
I apologize.
I'm gonna parlay that with the
make sure you got the
Drum
right
roll.
info.
Yeah, you gotta get the drum roll.
careful. I want to make sure the numbers are right, but I'm gonna parlay that with Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So we were just talking about Tampa Bay. I think all the reasons apply. I think that
Brady comes out.
You like that line at 8?
I think it's interesting
weird
that
number.
the 11-5 Buccaneers are traveling to Washington. The 7-9 Redskins for
It's a
this
shame.
game.
It goes to show they should reseed teams in the playoffs.
But in any case, I think that while I like Alex Smith and I think he's a good game manager, I don't think from experience, he never is able to put up very many points. I think the Buccaneers can put up a good bit of points even without Evans.
Who's
like
the backup in Washington now? Is it Kaepernick?
It may be this week. I don't know.
I don't know. They cut Haskins, and
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to take it.
somebody.
I mean, I'm with you on Smith. He's the man. I love Alex Smith.
Me too.
How can you
but-
not love Alex
You
Smith?
can. He's a stud, but he's injured, and you can see it. You saw it in the game last week.
Yeah.
He just wasn't quite himself. He can't put a lot of pressure on that calf. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, so I'll take the 8 point, or I'll take Tampa Bay, and given 8 points, and I'll parlay that with Tennessee.
I like it.
Taking the 3.5 on that game.
I like
that's
it.
my pick. Parlay
I like
pick
it
of
too.
the week.
Okay, so I'm not sure going forward what we're gonna do next week. I guess we'll figure that out as we get there. But real quick, winners and losers. I got one more tip for you. This is Fat Sam telling you I've got one more surefire, no kidding, lock pick for all of our listeners out there. All 25,000 of you. It's not that many really, but here it is. Okay.
The Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
As a connoisseur of fine malt beverages, just because a beer says it's premium does not mean that it's premium. I just relearned that today. So take it for what it is out there, people. Don't believe everything that's written on the can, okay? Do not believe it. Do not take it. You got to do a little bit of investigative discovery on your own, okay? So this is what I'm drinking right here, and I thought it was premium. I paid premium. It's not premium, okay? So T-Bone knew it, though. He knew. Of course, T-Bone always has a good way of correcting my stupid mistakes, unless he leads me down to the stupid mistake. So, all right. So that's all we got for today. Winners and losers, I'm telling you, on this Friday night, we're headed to the casino right now to put in our bets. You should do the same thing. So good luck, good fortune, and as always, we'll see you next time on Take the Points.